Today we're going to look at how a cloud-based ERP system can benefit your business. So most employees nowadays, in a recent survey, well, that's over 60%, offer some form of teleworking facility which enables staff to access systems remotely, whether they be in home office, whether they be working on the road, or whether they're in another site that belongs to the company. So flexible working is really on the up, and one of the things that a cloud-based system really helps with is the ability to use any device. So for most people, they'll connect from home and they'll use maybe a laptop or a PC or even a tablet device or perhaps a smart screen television. So by having an online based system that's fully web based, employees should be able to use any device. Now this has several benefits for a business in that they don't have to maintain and upgrade and support equipment like laptops that are carried around by employees. So if it's truly web based, there should be very little components that will need to be installed on an end user's device, so it makes it very slick. Another major advantage is document management. So if your ERP system allows you to upload documents like Canvas Online does, you won't need to access Windows file shares and small business servers and so on and so forth to access documents. You'll just be able to see them attached with an electronic copy of an order or a quote or an invoice. So there'll be less concern then of leaving files around on computers that might get stolen. So there'll be less of a need to use things like laptop encryption. So if you've got integrated document management, a cloud-based ERP system can really help support your workers accessing files and information that they need, particularly when they're on the road. Another major advantage is separate sites. Now, if your company is based over a number of sites, particularly those that operate in other parts of the country or in other parts of the world, in the past the only way to get connectivity between these sites was to use expensive leased lines. It used to cost a fortune. A couple of examples of that were killer streams and mega streams that were provided by the likes of BT. And nowadays many companies tend to use complicated VPNs, site-to-site VPNs, to enable connectivity between separate sites, because internet speeds are so good these days with the likes of DSL and fibre. But if you've got a cloud-based ERP system which is hosted in an ISP's data centre, you don't need to worry as much about using VPN technologies. In fact, many people don't use them at all now. So it's just the same as accessing your online banking system. So there's less of a concern about enabling this connectivity, because people can just use a web browser to connect to the system. And because most modern web browsers like Chrome, IE, Firefox are so good, the functionality that you get in the web browsers is equivalent to that used by the likes of Windows applications, where these types of VPN were typically employed to enable desktops across a number of sites to all connect to a central server somewhere. Another major benefit of using a hosted system, one that's web-based, is around support, installation and upgrading. Now in the past, Windows applications were installed on computers which connected to central databases on servers. So there are a number of big advantages here of using an online ERP system. So you don't need to worry about upgrading all of these versions on computers that you may have in separate sites. And there's been all sorts of wonderful programs in the past to enable mass updates of software. You have things like group policy in Windows, there was Vector, System Center. You don't need to worry about those if you're using web-based applications, because if there's a new version of the ERP system, the supplier can update that for you centrally. So there's no software needed to go on these in computers, so there's less of a management overhead as well. Support is simplified because the thing is hosted. it's far easier to provide support because the database is in one place and the system's not spread across a wide area. So there's some major advantages there for the management of application, both for the supplier and for customers as well, because those upgrades can happen very quickly, and if there's any issues they can be resolved very fast. Another big plus for online ERP systems is security, because all information is held in one place and it's accessible by the web. There's less of a requirement to download data onto laptops. So in the past, many laptops had encryption programs to protect them if they were ever stolen, and there was quite a lot of effort involved in encrypting a laptop and maintaining that laptop encryption as well, and it provided an additional level of security. Now, if an online ERP system like Camus Online is used, it provides its own reporting engine, so there's less of a need to download data into systems like Excel and leave them on the hard drives of that local laptop, because the custom reports can be written, and if there's still a need, yes, they can be exported as well, but there's less of a requirement to do that, so there's far less of a footprint on the user's laptop. Another issue is connectivity. So if you've got an online ERP system hosted in the data center, the connectivity to that data center is going to be far better than it would be for a small business operating on the end of an ADSL line. So if you have problems with your internet links, it's very easy for backup connectivity to be arranged, so a laptop or a tablet device may be able to connect over 3G in the advent of an ADSL outage, because ISP's data centers have far better and resilient connectivity to the internet than what most small companies do, as most people just employ cost-effective like ADSL and fiber links. So there's a big plus with connectivity as well, and also in terms of speed, in that most data centers have very fast links and multiple links to the internet. So if you've got sites in different parts of the country or in different parts of the world, the connectivity to those sites should be good, and there'll be less of a need to have high bandwidth links, because the transactions and the data sent between the clients using the web-based system and the server that hosts it is usually quite small. It's typically just a few K per transaction. Because it's web-based, very little traffic is going between the client and the server, so it's quite quick, and it's cost effective as well, because you don't need to use massively powerful internet links because the traffic is very low. So as you can see here, there are a number of major advantages for using an online ERP system, and I hope that was helpful.